All right, welcome to Scent in the City Recruiting 101. Let's talk today about building a team. We're going to go through several different aspects of different ways to recruit, how to recruit, what to say, how to talk to people when they say no, how to talk to people when they say yes, and so on and so forth. So building a team and presenting the opportunity. For those of you who are either new to the Scentsy family or don't have a team yet or maybe have a smaller team or whatever the case may be, this can apply to you either way. So presenting the opportunity. Never ever wait to recruit. A lot of people tell me, okay, I just started. I don't know a lot about what I'm doing. I don't know a lot about Velada. I don't know a lot about Grace Adele. I don't know a lot about Scentsy. So I want to wait until I know everything until I try and build a team. I can tell you one thing for sure, the time is now. Never ever wait to start growing your team. If you are just getting started, the beginning of your business is the most powerful time. Your excitement is at its highest when you're starting your new business. Even if you're just starting to grow a team, start now, start today, start yesterday. Because when you're excited about something, your enthusiasm is contagious. Use that to build your team. There's nothing that you're going to say to someone that's going to change the way they feel about the company. They gain enthusiasm by your enthusiasm. So if you're excited about what you're doing, they're automatically going to do what you're doing. So you can't approach someone, you can never walk up to somebody and say, so have you ever thought about joining Scentsy, or do you want to join my team? Because they're automatically going to think, well, she's really excited about it. You have to be excited about what you're doing to share that with others. We've never watched an infomercial or ordered something from the TV because the person was sitting in their chair half asleep explaining the product. We are attracted to their enthusiasm and their love of the product and their love of what they're doing. So remember that when you're talking to people about joining your team. Your enthusiasm comes from seeing what works. Don't worry about your lack of experience. You can grow together. I can tell you guys, I signed up in December 2008, and I got my first recruit the February after. And my very first recruit is now one of my directors, and she joined my team after I had mentioned it to her, I think, in our driveway. She was my neighbor several years ago, and I was just excited. I didn't know anything about Scentsy. I didn't know all the ins and outs. And if you talk to her, she can tell you I told her a couple things wrong sometimes. And we learned together and we grew together. And that's what helps you build relationships in your Scentsy team that you learn together. If you have a team member that you've sponsored that asks you something that you don't know, that's okay. Because all you have to do is say, you know what, I don't know, but I'm going to find out, or we can find out together. So not only that, but it teaches them that you are not going to feed them every single answer, but you're going to grow with them and you can learn together. Like I said, you and your team can develop together, learn together, and earn together. So how? How do we recruit? Oftentimes people will say, how in the world did you grow a team? How in the world do you recruit? You have to share Scentsy with absolutely everyone you meet. And it sounds crazy, but if you never say anything about your business to people, they're not going to know about it. You're not presenting that opportunity to them. I know people that are consultants that I've gone here or there with their friends or whatever, and they say, oh, I didn't know you were a Scentsy consultant, and my jaw just drops. Be sure the people around you know what you do, because if they don't want to sign up, maybe they know someone else who does. Never ever sell yourself short and not knowing or not letting people know what you do. Not only that, but set an example everywhere you go. Make sure that you don't have a Scentsy you and a regular you, because you are who you are in front of people. When you go to the grocery store, when you go to the post office, when you're out in your yard, you are your Scentsy example, and people are watching that. If they're watching you be a down person who's always angry, who never talks to anyone, you're not setting that example. They don't want to be what you are. They don't want to do what you're doing because they see you as an unhappy person. Remember that it's not just putting on a happy face. Be happy with what you're doing. Be happy with what you are, and spread that everywhere you go. Always have something with you. Always have join brochures, opportunity DVDs, samples, catalogs, something. You can get on Word and type up a little letter of your story. Even if you only started last month, you have a Cincy story. Be sure you have that typed up. It can be why you joined, what your goals are. It doesn't have to be, oh, I've been doing this for 2 years, and I did this, and I did that, because that's not what people want to know. People want to know about you personally and why you're doing what you do. And again, be enthusiastic about your business. It is absolutely contagious. Brand yourself, your car, and your family. There are a million different T-shirts on the Cincy Family Success Store that you can get, and a lot of times they're on clearance. So if you have one, you can change it up. You can wear long sleeves under it. You can tie a knot in the front. You can tie a knot in the back. You can wear it different ways. You don't have to wear it every day, of course. But wear Cincy stuff when you can. Also, my kids have Cincy shirts, and I let them wear them whenever they can. They can advertise for you. Brand your car. If you don't have something on your car that says you're Cincy, then people don't know. I had an event last weekend that was about a half hour, 45 minutes from my house. And I happened to run into someone who lives in the same town as I do. And they said, hey, do you drive that black SUV with Cincy on the back? And I said, yep, that's me. Well, they noticed my car just because what I had branded on the back. And you may not right away get someone that calls you and wants to order or something like that, but branding does work. It lets people know that you're proud of what you do, that you're excited about what you do, and you're willing to show it off. Also, see your business as an opportunity, not an inconvenience. A lot of times we get so wrapped up in people soliciting us. There's always somebody calling trying to sell us something. There's always somebody at the door wanting us to buy cookie dough or bows or ribbons or something. We get tired of that, and so then we look at our business that way. We look at it as they don't want to hear it. They don't want me to say, oh, here's what you could do, da, 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 da. Stop looking at your business that way. Your business is an opportunity, and we have to remember, where would we be if someone had not offered us this amazing opportunity? Where would I be 4 years later if someone had never said, you should do this, you really should, it's an amazing company, I love what I'm doing? What if someone never told me that? And finally, ask, and ask again. You have to remember that quantity works. You may ask 100 people and have 2 say yes, but at least you asked. And if you hadn't, then they didn't get that opportunity to hear what you had to say. They didn't get the opportunity presented to them. And you absolutely never, ever know who might say yes. Remember, a no never hurt anyone. I've never met a person that said they physically got hurt by a no. The fear of asking it's in our self-esteem. It's in our that little thing in the back of your head that says, rejection, rejection, what if they say no? What if they look at me like I'm crazy? These little things are the things that tell us, what if? What if they're going to say no? What if they roll their eyes? What if they're not interested? So what if? At least you asked. I can guarantee you 100% the person that never talks about Cincy and never asks if someone's interested in the opportunity will not grow a team like the person that asks and talks about their business all the time. So how do you sell the opportunity? If you're going to talk to people, which you should, how do you do that? First of all, like I said before, offer it as a blessing, an opportunity, and not a burden. Remember what you're offering to people. You're offering them a business. You're offering them financial security for the price of $99. You're offering them sponsorship, which means training, which means your support, and which means a company that will support them and train them every single step of the way. You are offering something so big that they can't get it anywhere else for the very same price. So make sure you're offering it as a blessing and not feeling like you're burdening them with your offer. Also, sell the product, but give the opportunity. You don't have to sell the opportunity of this business. You're not a used car salesman. You don't have to convince someone to sign up. If you offer it to them and tell them how great it is and share your enthusiasm, that's all you have to do. I learned probably, I don't know, a year, 2 years into this business, if you have to convince someone to sign up, you're also going to have to convince them every single day to work their business. You're going to have to convince them to try and build a team. You're going to have to convince them to be a leader. You're going to have to convince them to book parties. So remember, convincing someone or hounding them or being on them all the time isn't always the best thing. So just as someone gave you the opportunity, it's your turn to give it to others. If you look at your business that way, it's easy to grow your team because you know what you have and what a great thing it is. How can you not share it with other people? So how to get prospects. What are you going to do to get yourself out there, to make yourself attractive, to make the business attractive, and to make people want to join your team? First of all, be yourself. You can't keep up a precedence of being someone else. So if you can be yourself, if you can be genuine, that is the best quality you can have. Because first of all, you're not somebody else. You don't have to pretend to be your sponsor. You don't have to pretend to be the person you know that recruited 5 people last month. Just be yourself. Be genuine, be enthusiastic, and love what you do. Tell your story from the heart. You can, let me give you an example here. You can walk up to somebody and be like, oh, here's what I do. I sell Scentsy, and look at the product, and isn't it so great, and this is what they've done, and this is how old the company is, and I do this many parties a month, da, 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 da. And they turned off probably about at, oh, here's what I do. So the way you want to do it is by just talking to someone. Show them your passion through your love of what you do. You don't have to have an amazing story, like I said before. You don't have to have reached Sensational Start Level 3. If you did, that's absolutely amazing, and it is something to share. But you don't have to be a superstar to love what you do and to gain the leadership that you want to be a great leader. Just lead from your heart and sell this business from your heart. Share the opportunity from your heart. Be passionate about it. People are attracted to that. We have all watched a movie where, let me see. So there's about 1 million different football movies where the coach is very, very passionate, and he leads a team of nothing to great, great victory. The things that attract us to those type of movies are the same thing that will attract people to you if you can sell this opportunity from your heart. Because you know what the potential is, you can sell just that. You can talk to someone about, you know what, in 10 years, I'm going to be a millionaire because I am working my business every single day, and I want you to come with me on this journey. If you can say things like that, people are automatically interested in what you have to say because of the belief you have and because it comes from your heart. Show your prospects that you're genuinely interested in them. Yes, tell something from your heart and tell something from your story, but don't do all the talking. Make sure you know what they want to know. Make sure you're asking them if they have any questions. Ask them what they're interested in. Are they interested in some time away from their kids? Are they interested in some financial help? What part of the business interests them? There's something in each person that can make someone want to be a part of what you're doing. So discover their hot buttons. What are their dreams and goals? What are they doing right now that they want to change? Do they have a job that they hate? Do they stay at home all day with the kids and they really just want to get out? Do they need some financial help? Do they not want to put their Christmas on credit cards? What are they doing? What are their dreams? What are their goals? Where are they going in life that Scentsy can help them with? How prepared and committed are they to achieving a quality lifestyle? A lot of people don't think about this. No matter what age they're at, you're working your job. There may be some small room for promotion, but most jobs have a ceiling. You have to remind people that when it comes to direct sales, there is no ceiling. There is no top, because no matter how much you achieve, there's always, always room to grow, and there's not very many businesses that are like that. What commitments, needs, or pressures do they have? Do they have 5 kids and they're running constantly? So you can tell them, you know what, you can take your business everywhere you go. Do they have a full-time job and maybe they don't have time to do home parties? That's great. They know a lot of people from work who can do basket parties. Think about these things when people tell you, oh, I just don't have time. Ask them why. Ask them why not. What do you spend your time on? Do you spend it on your kiddos? Do you spend it helping your husband with things? Do you spend it? Let them know that Cincy can go anywhere they can go, and they can work a business no matter what they're doing. What do they know about our product? What do they know about the company? What do they know about the network, the marketing industry? Ask them, what do you know about Cincy? What do you know about the company? Help them debunk the things maybe that they've heard about the business itself. How much time do they have available to invest in their business? This is a good question, because no matter what the answer is, you can have something to say or something to tell them about the opportunities that can fit with what they do. It doesn't have to be full-time for everyone. If they already have a full-time job and 3 kids, they are busy, and you know that, and I'm sure that you understand that. But there are ways to work around it. You can start small now, and you can work bigger if you want to. How high is their level of interest? Some people may not act interested at all. I've talked to people that I think, you know what, they're not interested one bit. They call me a few days later and say, you know what, I want to know more about this. So you never, ever know, and it's hard to gauge people on what they're thinking. So be sure and ask them. Sparking the interest and overcoming barriers. Now, I've already talked about some of this. What they'll be wondering is, what's in it for me? A lot of times when people see direct sales and you're talking to them about joining your team, the first thought in their head is, it's for your benefit. The only reason she wants me to join her team is because she's going to make money off of me. And we've all thought that about our sponsors, and I am the first to admit it. Like, when you first start this business, you think, oh, well, she's going to make money off what I sell, so she wants me to sign up. So you have to let them know that, yes, we do make a percentage of what they make, but if you can be honest and upfront about that and teach them that you honestly and genuinely care about their success, they'll know what's in it for them. When I see girls on my team succeed, when I see girls on my team pick up a rank, whether it's certified, lead, superstar, whatever it is, that is my gain. I love when people see that success for themselves, when they grow as a person, when they have something they never had before because I shared this opportunity with them. Don't oversell it. You can tell when a person is starting to get turned off. When you start talking about something and they kind of start tuning out, stop right there and just say, you know what, if you have questions, let me know. A lot of times leaving it open that way is more attractive than giving them too much information. If they want to know something, they'll ask. And if you feel like they were somewhat interested, you can always come back to them or give them a call or shoot them an email a week later and say, hey, you know what, I kind of thought you might be interested. Do you have any questions? Or what questions do you have for me about the business? Or what do you think? You know, leave it open to them to ask you and to approach you. And don't pressure people. No one likes to be pressured. No one likes to be dragged around. And don't overpromise anything. Never, ever approach someone and say, you know what, you could make $1,000 this month, because you don't know what their dedication and what their level of commitment will be. You can tell them the potential and the opportunity, but don't promise them anything. You can't control how people accept the offer. So if you're offering them this business opportunity, their response is out of your control. So never ever get down on yourself and say, you know, I told her about the business and she's just not interested at all, and I'm not doing this right. Just move on. If you talk to someone that's not interested, talk to somebody else and continue and continue and continue, because perseverance will lead you to recruiting success. You now have the power to help change other people's lives. If you don't believe that, start believing it now. Cincy can change people's lives, and I have seen it over and over again, and I can honestly tell you it has changed my life more than I could ever have dreamed it could, not just financially, but it's changed me as a person. I'm more confident. I am stronger in leadership. I feel better about myself, and it can change the way someone looks at themselves. It can change their attitude. It can give them something that they didn't have before. Are they ready to commit? A lot of times when we talk to someone about this opportunity, we want them to give us a yes right away. So this is kind of hard because we're like, oh, maybe I should call her. I talked to her last week at that party. She seemed kind of interested. Maybe I should call her. Make sure they know that you want them to sign up and you will help them, but give them time. From the time my sponsor talked to me about the Cincy opportunity, it took me 9 months to sign up. And I look back on that now, and some days I think, you know, what if I had started 9 months earlier? But then I'm like, you know what, it wasn't right for me. I wasn't ready. Give people time to be ready. Things change in people's lives. Maybe they will cut back hours at work. Maybe they have a little one that's going to start school next year, so they're going to have more time during the day. Give them time and leave the door open because things change in people's lives. Just because it's not a yes right now doesn't mean 6 months to a year it won't be. I have a recruit who did my very first party. She was my very first hostess almost, well, like 3.5 years ago. She was my first hostess, and I presented the opportunity to her then. I offered her the party if she wanted to sign up. It could have been her launch party, and she didn't want to do that. She had probably total 3 parties for me, and then we moved apart. She just signed up this last spring, 3 years after I had originally presented her with the opportunity. It has to be the right time for people. And every time I talk to her, I just said, you know, you can still sign up. There's still amazing opportunity with the company. You haven't missed out on anything. Ask if she has any questions, but then move on. Let her know that the door is open, but you're not going to shut it on her. Where do you present the opportunity? And literally everywhere you go is the best answer to that question. Every single person you meet, whether you're shopping, running errands, taking the kids to school, at church, if you have appointments at the doctor or the dentist or wherever you go, if you're doing business around town, social networking, at your parties is a big one, both basket and home. Make sure your basket party people are aware. I know we always talk about it at home parties, but make sure that you put something in a basket party, letting them know, you know what, you could do this too. If you have another job, let them know what you're doing. At your husband's work, at social events, every single place you go that you're around, family, friends, neighbors, even people you don't know, that's where you present the opportunity. Like I said earlier, start now. You're fresh. The sooner the better. Even if you had started your business a year ago and you're not an amazing recruiter, start now on new knowledge that every single person you talk to, you're going to share this opportunity with. The sooner the better. Don't wait until you're more experienced. Starting now is the way to gain experience as a leader. Never feel like someone's going to judge you if you don't know the answer. Never feel like someone's going to judge you if you don't know everything about your business. Learn together. Sponsoring is one of the biggest and most exciting opportunities of your business. And I love this little quote, your sales income has a ceiling, but your generation income will grow infinitely. So what does that mean? That means you're only one person. You can only sell so much Cincy. You can sell, I don't know, tops 4,000 or 5,000 a month. If you have fundraisers, you can maybe sell 10,000 a month. But that limits you. You can only sell so much Cincy, and your income will be limited through that. If you can grow a team and show them how to grow a team, teach them to be leaders, and grow yourself as a leader, your income will grow infinitely, forever and ever. There is no ceiling on your earning potential. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, we went over a lot of key points there, just recruiting, this and that. I want to share a story with you, and it does have some length to it, but I feel like it has a lot of value, so it's why I want to share it to you. And I'm going to skip some parts of it. And you guys who have been on my webinars before have heard me read out of a book called Life is a Verb. If you've never heard of it, I know it's on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. There's a million different stories in this book that have a ton of value, and I shared this last time I read a little story. I'm never ever nervous when I do webinars, except for when I read. So if I have to pause because I'm reading, I don't know what it is about reading to people that makes me nervous. So stick with me. Like I said, the story is a little bit long, but I'm going to try and get through it because it has some really amazing points, and I want you guys to hear it. It does have some value. So if you want to skip over to Facebook and check that out while you're listening to me, I'm not going to be offended, but I hope you get like the base of the story and what it's about. So the story is called Say Hi to Yoron. And then a quote that goes with it: judging is a lonely job in which a man is, as near as he may be, an island entire. A few years ago, I boarded a flight that changed my life. As I boarded that plane, I know now I was walking away from one version of myself and into another. But at that time, I felt like I was just going to Parsippany. I was in no mood for idle chit-chat on the flight. My seatmate had better shut up and get engrossed in a flight magazine, and all those lovely trinkets in Sky Mall catalog or in some inane movie about the father of bride or wedding planner starring Steve Martin or Jennifer Lopez. I just wanted some peace and quiet. It had been a hell of a trip so far, and I was in no mood to go to New Jersey. I just wanted to go home. My seatmate was a very large man, a broad-faced wonder, a man whose belly was not to be contained in a too-small T-shirt from the Grand Canyon, but poured over into my space instead, over the armrest and into my air, my real estate, my 12B. Great, that's just great. I put on my power suit mask and opened my book, an Etude volume of poems in their original German by Rainer Maria Rilke. I used to keep it in my carry-on bag for just such emergencies. It stopped people in their tracks, usually. Not this time. Grand Canyon man rifled incessantly through a plastic grocery bag he kept between his feet on the floor, then up in his lap, then down again. The sound was overwhelming, as if the universe had focused its sound boom on that one piece of plastic, amplifying it beyond all measure. I could hear nothing else. Every movement he made moved me too. I was irritated. Suddenly, without any warning, there was a loud explosion from his lap. The large family-sized bag of pretzels he had burst open was thrust before me. I was shocked into silence, only nodding a fierce no and returning to my book. Sorry, I'm just skipping over it. She reads some here from the book and the poem, and I'm going to skip that. So a little space for breathing and leaning back in my very own 12B would be nice. It grew dark as we passed through the clouds. Suddenly, large plastic bag Grand Canyon pretzel man reached up and turned on my light for me, still not speaking. Perhaps he's mute. He looks like a larger than normal Aleutian, a giant Aleutian man. That's just great. After the day I've had, I really need to be left alone. I don't want to engage. Can a large plastic bag Grand Canyon mute Aleutian pretzel man not understand that? I nodded with a forced grin to acknowledge his gentlemanly intrusion. Then it hit me. I'd just given a speech to 12,000 people about not judging people by how they look. I determined between sips of Bloody Mary mix to be nicer, to reclaim my humanity, to try, dear sweet God, to restore what little karma I had left. When I saw a large plastic pretzel bag Grand Canyon mute Aleutian pretzel man taking photos out of the plane window with a disposable Kodak, I made my move. What are you taking photographs of? I asked in that slow, loud, excruciating, enunciated voice sometimes used with non-English speakers. We don't have rivers this big in Israel, he answered slowly in halting English, with a beautiful Israeli accent. One of my dearest and wisest friends is from Israel. I turned to face his fabulous voice. Where are you from in Israel, I asked, and with that we began a friendship that endures even now, years later. Yoron was a policeman in Netanya, in Israel resort town. He and his police partner saved their money for 5 years to come to the United States. When her grandmother died the week before the trip, it was clear he would have to come alone. Ensure all of his English in here for the first time, he toured the United States by himself, no doubt the constant beneficiary of the kind of cold reaction I have given him. He brought police insignia badges from Israel to trade with policemen in the U.S. I still barter with police badges to send him for his collection. I have traveled all over the United States in these 3 weeks, he told me. I rented a tiny car in L.A. and drove to the Grand Canyon. He held his large hands very close together, mimicking how small a steering wheel his budget compact car had. When you stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon, you want to turn to the person next to you just to say, look at that. I didn't have anybody to turn to, he said. I went to Walt Disney World in Florida, and my video camera broke. I couldn't help myself. I started crying in the middle of the street. One of the workers saw me and gave me this little paper camera so I could take pictures while I was there. But you know, he said, looking straight at me, it's not the same when you see a field of wheat blowing in the breeze. It's so much different than seeing a still picture of the wheat, isn't it? It occurred to me I was in the presence of someone with a poet's soul, all wrapped up in a policeman's body. Yes, I answered, it's very different. We talked the whole way to Newark. It turns out that I had sat beside Joran on his very last night in the United States. He was taking a city bus from the airport to a distant relative's house somewhere in New Jersey before flying home the next day. When we landed, the car and driver my client had arranged was nowhere to be found. It was yet another gift. Joran and I went to an airport coffee shop to talk. Emerging hours later, he told me about his fiancée going to the market 3 days before their wedding and being killed by a truck on the way home. His large sausage fingers moved slowly to just under his eyes, where he held them for a moment to serve them as log jams for the tears that had collected. He talked about his part-time design business. You have to see what I got, he said, digging deeply in one of the bags that surrounded his feet. It's so beautiful. His face lit up at the very thought of it. He rooted around for a while. I asked the manager if I could please have one because I'd never seen anything like it, he said excitedly. And finally he set up, his large hands dwarfing a Shoney's menu. Isn't it beautiful, he asked. Just look at the color. Joran was planning to find a city bus to take him to his final destination. I couldn't have his experience in the States end that way. Come with me, I said. We'll get a cab together, and I'll take you to your cousin's house. When we approached the tiny 110-year-old man in the very first cab with my efficient practice, I am a business travel, leave me the hell alone roll aboard, and Joran's big suitcases and plastic bags, he balked. Oh, no, ma'am, you need 2 cabs. You're going in 2 opposite directions. Well, I answered, we'll go to where he's going first, and then we'll turn around and we'll go to where I'm going. No, ma'am, that'll cost you over $150. You really need 2 cabs. I appreciate what you're trying to save me money, but we need to go together, I said, insistent on delivering Joran safely with all his bags and Shoney's menus. I couldn't bear the thought of him lugging those bags into a city bus, unsure of where he was going, perhaps not being met on the other end by his cousin. It just wouldn't do. It wasn't the image of the United States I wanted to leave with him. The man deserved better. We got lost many times on that journey to his cousin's house, so the drive gave us even more time to talk. And after I dropped Joran off, his cousin waving quizzically from the front door, my cab started backtracking to Parsippany. Joran called the next morning to wish me well in my speech. He calls from Israel every Christmas Eve and names all of Santa's reindeer, even though Santa isn't a part of his tradition. He stays up late to call on New Year's Eve. When he found out that John's grandmother, Nana, was a devout Catholic, he sent holy water from the river Jordan for us to give her. And just so you know, it isn't water from my bathroom. I made a video of me getting it from the river Jordan, he said. Sure enough, the water arrived with a videotape of him driving and filming at the same time to the River Jordan. He videotaped the River Jordan fine, followed by a snaky camera motion, while the video camera was set on a rock and Joran ran in front of the lens, bending down with a Fanta bottle, scooping up holy water. What would I have missed if I hadn't said hello to him? So you guys probably got by now the idea of what I wanted to share with you, how speaking to every person we meet or not closing ourselves off to opportunity can absolutely change our lives. I have a few quotes on the screen, which you guys have probably already read, so I'm not going to read them to you. But through that, I want you to remember the opportunity that we have in our daily lives that we are taught from childhood to shut off. So I want you to turn that back on somehow. Turn on the idea that just because someone looks like they may not be your next team member doesn't mean they're not. Just because they don't look or fit the part in your head doesn't mean that's not exactly what they are. So remember that Joran is everywhere. He is standing in line behind you at the grocery store. He is the person that knocks on your door to try and sell you cleaner, you never know where your next opportunity will take you to share this with someone else. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to take hold of opportunity, not only to offer this business opportunity, but to offer it to those you think may not be interested. Take notice of your habits. Note to yourself, why did I not talk to that person? Just because of what they were doing, just because they seemed busy, just because they weren't wearing what I thought they should wear? Why did you not engage? Why did you engage with certain people? Engage with everyone you meet. Gauge their reaction. Even if you're scared, if you're tired, if you're busy, remember there's people all around you all the time that you can present this opportunity with. If you hear someone say, or if you've said yourself, I've already talked to everyone I know about it. Well, you may have talked to everyone you know about joining your team. What about the people you don't know? We often think that because we have a bubble that we live in, we're not allowed to invite new people in, especially if you've lived in the same place your whole life. A lot of times you talk to the same people, you have the same friends, you have the same group of people, and you automatically have a judgment against others. Stop with your habits, change your habits, and present yourself with brand new opportunity for growth. So hopefully a few things that I've said today have helped you grow, have helped you learn, maybe get outside your comfort zone to grow your business, because when it comes to recruiting, there's nothing that I can share with you that's going to change the way you recruit. The only two things I can say is A, speak from your heart. Be enthusiastic, be passionate, be who you are, and get outside your box. Get outside your comfort zone, pop that bubble, and start talking to strangers. Once you do it, you will learn to do it more and more and more, because the excitement that comes with it, the excitement of maybe that person that you never would have talked to before actually joined your team, will push you forward. And perseverance. Continue to ask even when 50 people say no, because it might be number 51 that says yes.